Ready for some quality audit discussion on audit quality? This is the IssuesWatch podcast. Hello, and welcome to the IssuesWatch podcast. I'm Brad Muniz, your host for the bi-weekly accounting and auditing episodes. I'm also the partner in charge of accounting and auditing at Sobel & Company. These A&A episodes qualify for Nano CPE credit. If you're interested in earning CPE credit for this and other episodes, hit the pause button now and head over to njcpa.org/nano to find out how. A quick disclaimer, these views and statements expressed herein are my own and not necessarily those of Njcpa or Sobel & Company. Okay, we got a lot of topic today, and I apologize if we're going to be looking down because I have a lot of notes to go over. The AICPA voted in May to approve the quality management standards, which is really big, and the ARSC sounds like the pirate in dodgeball, the Accounting Review Services Committee is expected to vote on their standard also on the quality management suite of standards. So what does this mean? So we always had quality control considerations as part of our audits, reviews, compilations, and they determined you don't control quality, you try and manage quality. So they came out with two quality management standards, number 1 and number 2, and then they're coming out with the SAS, a Statement on Auditing Standards, addressing or blending in the quality management standards into audits, and ARSC is coming out with a SARS, blending the quality management standards into reviews and comps. So quality management standard number 1 addresses a firm's system of quality management. This is really big. I know I'm just kind of being loose about it. This is just really big. I'll give you some points as to what they're focusing on. In essence, you have to evaluate the quality of every aspect within your organization. The software you use, the promotion process you have, CPE that you're taking. By the way, the Society CPE passes fine, okay? Anyway, quality management standard number 2 is engagement quality review. How do you put into place EQR, engagement quality review? Now, this is going to be difficult for the sole practitioner. I'm not picking on them in any way, but what quality review process do you have? The enormous concept that we all are going to have to try and accept and swallow is having this all documented. Now, the bigger firms are going to have people that are going to be focusing on it. The other firms are going to have to try and hope practice aids are out there or resources are out there available for it to help them document. As I said, SAS 146 will be blending the quality management standards into the audit process, and SARS 26 will be blending the quality management standards into reviews and compilations. This is designed to, and here's some of the bullets that have been indicated just in some literature that I was reading, increase in firm leadership responsibilities and accountability and improve firm governance. It's going to be putting the onus on the managing partner as being the quality management overseer. Okay, now you can have a quality management person, but they are ultimately responsible for quality management, which is very interesting because now in New Jersey, if you take your New Jersey law and ethics, you can find out that a non-CPA can be the managing partner too. So they're still going to be obligated. Introduction to risk-based approach in achieving quality objectives. And we're not just talking risk-based approach as part of your audit process. We're talking about a risk-based approach for reviewing accepting engagements, evaluating CPE, hiring people, promoting people, reviewing people. It's all throughout. Addresses technology, networks, and the use of external service providers. Now, if you saw recently, the PCAOB even came out with some information on the confirmation process and how you're evaluating the confirmations that you're receiving and the reliance on them. Increased focus on continual flow of information and flow of appropriate communication internally and externally. Promote proactive monitoring of quality management standards and the timely, effective remediation of deficiencies. The important thing is this all has to be documented. So right now, our quality control document is a good 60 pages long. I can imagine that it's going to be volumes now because we're going to not just have we're going to have a quality management document as it relates to accepting engagements, as it relates to evaluating third-party service providers, as it relates to reviewing of engagements. It's going to be really comprehensive now. Enhance engagement partners' responsibility for audit engagement, leadership, and audit quality. They really want to see the audit partner more engaged in the audit, especially in the planning stage, the review stage, and the wrap-up stage. They want to see you involved throughout the whole engagement. They don't necessarily saying, we want the engagement partner to be auditing cash, or we want the engagement partner to only be auditing something. They want the engagement partner to take ownership and responsibility and be involved throughout the entirety of the engagement. Lastly, this is really a convergence with international standards. I think that's where they're going with this. And the implementation date is required to be by December 15, 2025. Don't kick back and say, whew, oh, we don't have that long. This is extremely comprehensive. My first session I ever sat in on this was around a year and a half ago. And just thinking about it over this past year and a half, it's a lot to try and digest. Just start looking into it now, and you'll find out more about some sessions that'll be available for you. Okay, and other, environmental, social, and governance, ESG. This is becoming extremely popular now. Now, I know some people are going to possibly shut off. We only have a few more minutes of the podcast, so you get your full credit, or a portion of a credit. So just listen in for this, because ESG is becoming very, very popular with things that are going on in the world. There's been some milestones that have happened over the years that have really bubbled up and created ESG to be something that we have to consider as part of the financial statements, or the financial statement package, including, you know, the 10K type of thing. Sustainability Standards Board came out in 2011. The Paris Climate Accord. There's increased media. You know, you see this all the time. Certain public companies have already started disclosing this stuff. Then the IFRS Foundation created the Sustainability Standards Board, ISSB, in 2021, and the European Financial Reporting Advisory Group released the European Standards on Sustainability Reporting. Okay? So there's been a lot coming out. Now, I noticed you're probably noticed, and you're sitting there going, Brad, you keep saying international, you keep saying international. Yes, I will admit that a lot of this is starting in the international area. But if you work for a company that has international subsidiaries, or you work for a company that is a domestic subsidiary of an international company, this could affect you. This could affect you tremendously, and the information that you may have to start pulling together could be kind of serious. Now, the AICPA pulled together a practice aid called Considerations of ESG-Related Matters in an Audit of a Financial Statement. Now, I know some people probably saying, audit, turn off, but in there, it's a really good comprehensive document. If you can get your hands on it, get it and look over it. It talks about the responsibility of management. It talks about the responsibility of those charged with governance, and it talks about the responsibility of the auditor. So you see, it covers a lot of areas. If you can get it, if you're a member of the AICPA, look over it. There's a lot of good information in there. The SEC then came out with a proposal on climate change, SEC, where they address the ways companies report climate-related risk and their own carbon-related emissions. So you all thought before, oh, this is international. The SEC started coming out with some items on proposals on this. They talk about governance of climate-related risks, and risk management, the likeliness of material impact on the businesses and financial statements, the likeliness to affect the strategy, business model, and the outlook, and the impact of climate-related events. I keep saying client, I apologize. The AICPA came out with a cheat sheet on this to help trying to work your way through this. And the one thing that I've noticed, I keep going back to this in different areas. I said it in the previous episode on crypto. What's the effect of nonprofit entities on this? I talked with a nonprofit person one time, and they said, we have to start looking how our board makeup is and how we're dealing with certain societal issues and addressing them. So I could see this rolling into some of the private communities, including potentially nonprofits. Lastly, I'll just talk about internal audit transformation. I want to talk about internal audit transformation for all those that are in industry. I want to make sure we don't ignore you. There was a recent survey. Nearly 75% of internal audit executives say that their departments are going through a transformation and innovation, which is great. They feel that the changes are significantly going to benefit the company. But what external auditors have to consider is how will this impact their audit? Because remember, external auditors rely on the internal auditors at time, use their work to enhance their audit. If the internal auditors are changing their processes, they're transforming or innovating, just consider how it affects your external audit process. So, there was only 2 items for me to hit on this time, or 2.5. You see that they were significant items. I hope you got some good information out of it. And now, in closing, I'd like to remind you about some upcoming NJCPA events. On July 28th, Renee Rampulo will be presenting a 4-hour webinar on the new quality management standards. I'm telling you, check it out. She's a great presenter, and it's a really interesting topic that's going to affect you significantly. Also, you can learn more about ESG. You saw how quick I went through. You can learn more about ESG at a 4-hour webinar on August 4th titled, How Accountants Create Value via ESG. Register for these events and more at njcpa.org/events. And if you're not already a member of the NJCPA Accounting and Auditing Standards Interest Group, sign up for free at the njcpa.org/groups. Thank you for watching or listening.